Ahoy there, pirates! Amir, or One Falcon, here from Rare Thief. The Hunter's Call had been feeling neglected by the bilge rats, and decided that it was finally their turn in the limelight. Merrick's whole family, who make up the entirety of the Hunter's Call Trading Company, approached Larinna about throwing a fishing-themed festival. After enduring hours of persistent pleading, and near suffocation by the smell of rotten meat, Larinna finally agreed to organize a fishing event in the honor of the Hunter's Call. That is if a lot of them went far, far away from her. The Festival of Fishing event is all about fishing and celebrating all the different kinds of fish native to the Sea of Thieves. To celebrate the festival, you'll want to grab your favorite fishing rod, dig up plenty of bait, and head out onto the sea and catch and deliver as many fish as you can. The Festival of Fishing event will last 3 weeks, from February 25th to March 18th. Each week, Larinna will unlock a new weekly challenge and a new voyage. Like in the other events, you'll get the voyages from Larinna. But where do you find the challenges? You can find the challenges in-game by going to your pirate log. From there, enter Season 1. Next, you'll select events, then special events. There you'll see the Festival of Fishing. If you can't quite complete a weekly challenge or voyage before the next week begins, don't worry. Once the weekly challenge and voyage are unlocked, they will remain unlocked throughout the rest of the event. So if you and your crew get distracted by an adventure at sea, or forget to do some fishing, you can always complete the entire event in week 3. So what do these challenges look like? We'll go into detail on each of the challenges, but broadly speaking, in each weekly challenge you'll find 7 goals, for a grand total of 21 goals. Separate from the weekly challenges, there are also 2 long-term challenges, but these do not have any additional goals. More on all of this to come, but first, how is the Hunter's Call incentivizing pirates to partake in the fishing festival? While this event will not have you quelling Flameheart's growing presence, sending Greymarrow back to the Sea of the Damned, or defeating any other threatening foe, there are still new cosmetic rewards to earn. So what are these rewards and how can you earn them? To earn every possible reward the event offers, you'll want to focus on completing the goals from the weekly challenges as well as completing the long-term challenges. As we said, there are a total of 21 goals throughout the event. For every 6 goals you complete, you'll unlock one of the 3 new fishing rod cosmetics. For completing all 21 goals, you'll earn a new title. So, upon completing your first 6 goals, you will unlock the Gold Hoarder's fishing rod. Upon completing 12 goals, you will unlock the Order Souls fishing rod. For those pirates who complete 18 goals, you will unlock the Merchant Alliance fishing rod. And for the fishing pros out there, completing all 21 goals from the weekly challenges will unlock the title Hunter's Hero. That's not all. Those 21 goals only make up the 3 weekly challenges. So what do pirates get for completing those long-term challenges? For the first long-term challenge, you must sell 50 fish to the Hunter's Call. These can be any fish you like. If you sell 50 fish to the Hunter's Call, you will unlock the Frostbite fishing rod. For the second long-term challenge, you must sell 100 fish to the Hunter's Call. Again, dealer's choice. If you sell 100 fish to the Hunter's Call, you will unlock the event-exclusive Fanatical Fisher title. Where do you claim these prizes? If you complete these goals and challenges, you will automatically receive your reward. For your shiny new fishing rods, check your equipment chest. To admire your new titles, look inside your vanity chest. Before we get into more specifics about how to complete these goals and challenges, there are a few bits of information that will serve you well throughout the entire event. The first involves your fish's condition when you go to sell. Selling raw, cooked, or burnt fish will count for credit when completing any of the challenges. Fish cannot be bitten in half though. Whole, complete fish only, pirates. Second, the challenges are all crew-based, so you don't need to worry about who in your crew is selling your fish to the Hunter's Call. Third, the fish you sell don't have to be caught from your fishing rod. You will get credit for selling fish found from resource barrels, shipwrecks, rowboats, and storage crates across the sea. Fourth, and relatedly, shipwrecks in particular are a great place to find fish. We usually find 4 to 6 fish from resource barrels inside shipwrecks. Fifth, if you're casting for fish, you might want to cast your line as close to your pirate as possible. We like using a short cast because we can see what fish is about to bite. That way, if we see a slippery little splashtail swimming towards our lure, we can pull that lure out of the water before it snaps up our bait. Sixth, make sure you have enough space for your fish to swim away and tire itself out. If your fish hits something like a rock or dry land, it will snap your line and the fish will get away. Seventh, let's say you decide to stay behind at an island or seapost to do some fishing, while your crew continues on their journey. Face a direction that you don't want to fish from until your mermaid appears. Then go fishing. Why? Well, the mermaid will appear in front of whichever way you're facing. If you start fishing before your mermaid appears, they will appear right in front of you, in the exact place you want to fish. This is a problem because if your fish runs into that mermaid, your line will snap. So you want your mermaid to spawn somewhere safely out of the way. Finally, there's so much to know about fishing and cooking, so if you'd like to freshen up your skills as a Sea of Thieves angler, don't worry. We've got a guide filled with basics, tips, tricks, and more. We'll link to that in the description below. Now that we have the basics of the event down, let's dive into the weekly challenges. The first weekly challenge that will be unlocked as soon as the event starts is a Platter of Plenty challenge. The Platter of Plenty challenge will have you and your crew looking for plentifins, pondies, and wreckers. The goals in this challenge include delivering 10 plentifins, 10 pondies, and 10 wreckers to the Hunter's Call. You will also need to sell 3 trophy plentifins, 3 trophy pondies, and 3 trophy wreckers. So by selling 3 trophy fish, you only need 7 more to go to get 10 in each category. You will also need to complete one of Larinna's Festival of Fishing voyages within the Shores of Plenty. It's a fairly simple voyage, but for those of you that are interested, we will cover how to complete this new voyage in another video that we will link to in the description below. If you know how to find and catch each kind of fish, you will breeze right through these goals, as well as the other goals from the following weekly challenges. If you're unfamiliar with the different kinds of fish found in the Sea of Thieves, we'll quickly go over how to find each so you can complete the goals for the event. It might also help to become familiar with the basic shape of the fish and the possible colors of the fish you are trying to catch. Sometimes with heavy waves, it can be difficult to distinguish what you're about to catch on your line. For our Platter of Plenty, 2 of the fish for this challenge require earthworm bait to catch. You can dig up earthworms in the grassy terrain of islands with your shovel, or randomly find them in resource barrels. You can even dig them up at the outpost you spawn at before sailing out to catch fish. This goes for the other 2 types of bait as well. As for finding the fish for this weekly challenge, let's start with plentifins. Plentifins can only be caught in the open water of the Shores of Plenty region. You will need to equip earthworm bait to your fishing rod before casting your line to lure them out of hiding. Just because you're in the Shores of Plenty, fishing in open water, and using earthworms doesn't mean you are guaranteed to have a plentifin appear. Other fish such as splashtails and eyehoppers could spawn instead. As we mentioned before, keep your casts short. If you see a fish you don't want to catch, quickly cancel your fishing rod and cast again. We like fishing for plentifins and other regional fish at the sea posts in the region. That way you can sell your fish immediately after catching it. Now, where to find pondies? As their name suggests, pondies can be caught in ponds. You can catch them in any region of the Sea of Thieves, and you can catch them without any bait. You must simply fish for them in a closed-off body of water on an island. Pondies cannot be found in open water. One of the more popular places to fish for pondies is Mermaid's Hideaway in the Shores of Plenty. It has 3 stoves on the island for mass cooking of fish. There are tons of ponds to choose from though. Just beware, not all ponds are big enough to catch pondies. You need enough room for that fish to tug and wriggle. If the pondie gets too close to the surrounding land, it'll snap your line. If you'd like to know which ponds are the most suitable for catching pondies, you can always pull out your interactive map. There you'll find markers specifically for ponds that will also make a great fishing spot. On to the third fish for this challenge, the wrecker. Wreckers are the third kind of fish you need for this challenge. They can be caught near a shipwreck found in any region of the Sea of Thieves. Similar to plentifins, they also only spawn if you have earthworm bait attached to your fishing rod. Sail your ship across the Sea of Thieves until you find a shipwreck. If you don't see a shipwreck sticking out of the water, look for a large flock of seagulls. Shipwrecks can be found underneath these circling birds. Once you've found a shipwreck, cast your fishing line near it with earthworm bait and you'll hopefully soon reel in a wrecker. Just be careful that you don't cast your line too close to the shipwreck. You don't want your fish to run into it and break your line. What about the shipwrecks you find in the Merchant Alliance's Lost Shipment voyages? Well, we can't say anything for certain. However, we tried fishing at several of these voyage shipwrecks and we've never gotten a wrecker to spawn. So for now, we'd say your best bet is to find a good old-fashioned emergent shipwreck. No matter where you find your plentifins, pondies, and wreckers, simply sell 3 trophy fish and 10 total fish in each category, complete the region-specific Festival of Fishing voyage, and you'll have knocked out this challenge. The second weekly challenge that will unlock on March 4th is an Ancient Assortment. The Ancient Assortment challenge will have you and your crew looking for ancient scales, eyehoppers, and stormfish. The goals in this challenge include delivering 10 ancient scales, 10 eyehoppers, and 10 stormfish, as well as 3 trophy variants of each fish to the Hunter's Call. You will also need to complete one of Larinna's Festival of Fishing voyages within the Ancient Isles. While the last challenge was earthworm focused, this challenge is leech focused. You can dig up leeches on the shorelines of islands with your shovel, or randomly find them in resource barrels. Just dig as close as you can to the water outlining the island and you should find some leeches. Now that you've got a couple leeches, you are ready to catch an ancient scale. Ancient scales can only be caught in the open waters of the Ancient Isles region in the Sea of Thieves. They also require leeches for bait. Similar to plentifins, you'll have to contend with splashtails and eyehoppers while fishing. Speaking of eyehoppers, you can catch them in the open water surrounding any large island in any region in the Sea of Thieves. They don't need any bait to lure out of hiding. You can fish from the island or preferably from your ship on the island shoreline. That way, skeletons will be less likely to bother you. Just make sure you are within the island's title card trigger. This will make sure you're in range for finding eyehoppers. Stormfish can be caught in the open waters while inside a storm anywhere in the Sea of Thieves with leech as bait. Simply sail into a storm, equip your leech bait, and cast your line. How do you know you're actually in a storm? Your ship's bell rings, your ship's compass spins uncontrollably, and your ship's wheel is hard to steer. What if you're in a rowboat? Pull out your personal compass. If you're truly in a storm, that compass will also spin uncontrollably. If you are not truly in a storm, the stormfish have no chance of spawning, so you really want to make sure you're in the storm. Sell 3 trophy and 10 total ancient scales, owl hoppers, and stormfish. Don't forget to complete Larinna's Week 2 voyage for the region, and you'll have knocked out the entire challenge, an ancient assortment. The last weekly challenge, which starts on March 11th, is one of the tougher challenges, a Devilish Dinner. This challenge will have you hunting down devilfish, battlegills, and splashtails. The goals in this challenge include delivering 10 battlegills and 10 splashtails, as well as 3 trophy battlegills and 3 trophy splashtails at the hunter's call. What about devilfish? You only need to turn in 5 devilfish and 1 trophy devilfish to the hunter's call, instead of 10 and 3 like the other fish. You will also need to complete one of Larinna's Festival of Fishing voyages within the Devil's Roar. The bait you will be focused on for this challenge is grubs. You can dig up grubs on the sandy terrain of islands with your shovel, or randomly find them in resource barrels. As for the fish you'll need to sell for this challenge, devilfish can only be caught in the Devil's Roar region of the Sea of Thieves, with grubs for bait. Like the previous region-specific fish, you'll still need to keep an eye out for splashtails wanting to snack on some grubs. Battlegills can only be caught in the water near an active fort or in the water near a skeleton ship. We suggest fishing for battlegills near an active skeleton fort, as you will most likely end up fighting the skeleton ship, which does not give you much uninterrupted time to catch a battlegill. Once you sail to the active skeleton fort, equip your grub bait to your fishing rod and cast away. You can fish from your ship next to the fort or from the island itself. It might be easier to do so from the ship though, so you don't have to worry about the skeletons interrupting your cast. For those of you who are curious, the Fort of the Dam does not count as an active fort, so you won't be finding any battlegills there. The final fish you will need to sell is the splashtail. This shouldn't be too difficult. Splashtails can be found in open water in any region of the Sea of Thieves without any bait. They are the most common fish in the Sea of Thieves, and you'll most likely catch enough of them while trying to catch the other kinds of fish to complete the goal. Once you sell the required amount of each fish and complete the Devil's Roar fishing voyage, you have completed the last of the weekly challenges. That just leaves the long-term challenges to complete. If you're trying to complete the weekly challenges, these long-term challenges will unlock naturally. One requires selling 50 of any kind of fish, and the other is 100 of any kind of fish. You will sell a minimum of 85 fish completing every weekly challenge, leaving just 15 left to sell. Hanging out at any sea post and fishing up splashtails will easily put you over the 100 needed. That about covers everything you'll need to know to 100% the Festival of Fishing event. If anything changes or we glean any additional insight, we'll be sure to add it to the description. If you have any questions or you discover anything that might help your fellow pirates, feel free to jot it down in the comments below. Also feel free to let us know which fishing rod you'll be using to celebrate the festival. While we can't wait to get our hands on the new fishing rods, we'll be using the Gilded Phoenix fishing rod in the meantime. Thanks for watching!